You know that feeling when you're driving on a familiar highway, just cruising along in the fast lane and
And suddenly you realize you have like absolutely no memory of the last 10 miles.
yeah, exactly.
You were
So
completely checked out.
you are on total autopilot. And, well, it's a slightly terrifying realization when it happens in a car, but it's even more profound when you realize it's happening in your daily
Oh,
life.
definitely. It really creeps up on you.
It does. And that brings us to today's exploration into the source material. We are looking at this program guide and manifesto called The 5-Day Awakening by Donovan Maycock.
Right. He's a national board certified health and wellness coach.
Yeah, a nutritionist and the co-founder of DCA Health Coaching down in San Antonio. So our mission today is to really dissect why we end up stuck on that life autopilot and break down the specific 5-day blueprint that's designed to reactivate our dormant potential.
Because it's a very common feeling, right?
Yeah.
Whether you are actively looking to break out of a rut right now, or you are just insanely curious about the psychology of habit building and personal accountability, this material offers a really fascinating new lens on why our usual routines just fail us.
Okay, let's unpack this. Maycock frames feeling stuck not as some sort of deep character flaw, but as a system error that we can actually fix.
Yeah, a system error is a great way to put it.
Right. But to get off autopilot, we first have to understand how we got there to begin with. He calls this process the fade.
Yeah, and the fade is insidious because it's not this dramatic, sudden collapse. I mean, it is the quiet, really slow slip of your standards.
Like skipping just one workout.
Exactly. Skipping one workout turns into a missed week, or, staying up late one too many times becomes chronic fatigue.
You stop keeping those little promises you make to yourself.
Yeah, and suddenly you are in the room, but not really there. And this is particularly prevalent in the target demographic he highlights, which is typically men aged 35 to 55.
Right, the guys who look like they have it all together on paper.
Totally. From the outside, they are providing for their families, doing the job, checking all the boxes. But underneath, they feel like something is just fundamentally off.
And people experience this slow loss of vitality, and they immediately blame it on one thing. They say they're just getting older.
Right, which Maycock calls the lie.
It isn't age, it's a pattern. Which leads to the core truth of this whole philosophy. Dormant does not equal broken.
Oh, I love that distinction.
The power is just switched off, but the engine itself is totally fine. It's basically like putting your smartphone in low power mode.
Right, yeah.
You don't throw the phone in the trash just because the screen dimmed and the apps are running a little slower.
No, of course not.
The phone isn't broken. You just need to plug it in.
What's fascinating here is that our usual solution to this low battery problem is completely backward.
How so?
Well, we assume we lack knowledge.
Right.
So we buy another book, we queue up another audio guide, we think we need to learn something new.
Oh, right. We think we're missing the secret ingredient.
Exactly. But information isn't the problem. We already know what to do. The tool we are using to execute that knowledge is what's failing us.
So most of us tuning in are pretty familiar with the concept of ego depletion. We know willpower is just this finite battery that drains with heavy use.
And that is exactly why everyone's ambitious Monday life overhaul crashes completely by Wednesday.
Yes, you just hit a wall. And we also know motivation is essentially weather. It's totally volatile and impossible to build a solid foundation on.
You can't rely on it at all.
Wait, if we can't rely on motivation and we can't use willpower, what exactly is supposed to be the fuel for this engine?
So he advocates for a total shift away from feeling-based action to identity-based action.
It's identity-based action, okay.
You stop waiting to feel motivated, and you figure out exactly who is dormant inside you. The guide actually maps the psyche into 4 distinct archetypes.
So 4 men inside you.
Yes. First, you have the king, representing vision and standards.
And when the king is quiet, you just drift.
Exactly. Second is the warrior, representing discipline and follow-through. When he's dormant, you know the move to make, but you just don't make it.
Then there's the magician, representing focus and strategy. And I think a lot of people relate to this one. When he goes quiet, you just feel foggy and stuck.
Very true. And finally, the lover, representing passion and presence. When the lover's quiet, you basically just go numb.
Wow. So identifying which of those 4 is currently missing is the main diagnostic tool, right?
That's the first step. But waking them up requires a mechanism that Maycock calls identity voting.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because every single action you take is framed as a vote for a type of person.
Yes, I love this concept.
If you eat a clean meal, that's a vote for someone who respects their body.
Hmm.
If you train for just 10 minutes, that's a vote for someone who shows up.
Right. It reframes a boring, mundane task, like taking a short walk.
Into a high-stakes election for your own identity.
Exactly. No single vote is dramatic on its own,
Mm.
but collectively, they become undeniable proof of who you are.
It's just brilliant.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, mapping those 4 archetypes alongside this voting system is really the cure for overwhelm.
Because it narrows it down.
Yeah. Instead of just thinking, oh man, my entire life is a mess, you can isolate the specific area. Like, is it vision, discipline, focus, or passion that desperately needs those votes right now?
That sounds incredibly powerful in theory, but how do you actually enforce a high-stakes election for your identity on, like, a random Tuesday?
Well, the program revolves around a 5-day streak requiring about 10 minutes a day. But it has to be more than just a checklist.
Right.
It relies heavily on psychological escalation. So it doesn't just throw you into new habits on day 1. Days 1 through 3 are purely diagnostic.
Okay, so easing in.
Yeah. Day 1 is the honest scan, which is basically designed to strip away your delusions about what's actually dormant. Then day 2 forces you to map the 4 archetypes.
And day 3 is when you learn the mechanics of identity voting.
Exactly. It's not until day 4 that you actually cast your first votes across the 5 pillars.
Right, which are nutrition, training, walking, sleep, and mindset.
Yes. And then finally, day 5 locks in the streak, generating visible proof on paper that the engine is actually turning over.
And the tools provided, like the field guide workbook, Donovan's daily emails, and the in-app chat nudges through the DCA Coach app, they aren't just, bonus content. They act as strategic pattern interrupts to literally snap you out of that highway hypnosis we talked about earlier.
They break the spell, basically.
Yeah. So what does this all mean when we look at how the program is actually positioned? It costs $27, which Maycock points out is less than dinner out.
Right. Super accessible.
But it comes with a strict no guarantee, no refund policy. It demands at least an 80% commitment and actively filters out anyone looking for a safety net.
This raises an important question about the psychology of commitment, I think. By setting a low financial barrier of $27, money is completely removed as an excuse. But setting a very high psychological barrier, refusing refunds and demanding real effort up front, that forces a complete mindset shift.
It changes how you view yourself in the process.
Exactly. The participant stops being a passive consumer, evaluating a product with a money-back guarantee, and they become an active, committed participant with real skin in the game. It intentionally burns the exit door before you even walk into the room.
While some will finish those 5 days and, naturally transition into Maycock's full 8-week warrior program, the immediate focus is simply proving you can still cast a vote.
That's the whole point.
We've journeyed from accepting that being on autopilot just means we are dormant, not broken.
Which is such a relief to realize.
It really is. And then to recognizing the inherent failure of relying on willpower and motivation alone.
Right, because the battery drains and the weather changes.
Exactly. But by adopting the daily identity voting system, we have a concrete way to wake up the king, warrior, magician, or lover inside us.
The goal of our exploration today was really to give you a shortcut to understanding this specific blueprint.
Yeah.
Allowing you to view your own daily habits through the lens of identity rather than just raw effort.
Which brings us right back to that highway autopilot. You don't have to stay checked out while the miles just roll by. You just have to start casting votes to grab the steering wheel again.
And here's something to think about. If every single small action is a vote, based purely on the actions you took yesterday, what identity is currently winning the election in your own life?
Man, that is the ultimate question. We warmly encourage you to keep questioning, keep exploring, and definitely keep casting those votes. We'll catch you next time.
Your awakening starts now. No more autopilot. No more waiting. Click the link in the description. Get started now.